Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today is February 16th. Overnight tonight, we're going to have a set of different weather events occurring over central Oklahoma. We're going to break that down here in this forecast over basically a 12-hour period from midnight tonight to noon on Thursday. So let's get into it. We have radar images at 4, 7, and 10 tomorrow morning. We see the progression of a severe weather system over the Red River moving up into what is the east central Oklahoma. That low pressure near it and just to the south, there will be a tornado threat. Along that line of yellow and orange is where we'll see wind and hail threats. And then behind it in the purples and blues is where we'll see sleet, freezing rain, and snow associated with this storm. So as we can see, lots of different hazards. As it stands right now, we're looking at warm temperatures outside. It's like 75 degrees, very windy outside as well. Wind gust around 40 miles an hour at the moment. Overnight tonight, like I mentioned, we're going to have severe weather, especially to the south of Norman, but it could reach this far north. We'll continue to keep an eye on that and monitoring that. All severe hazards possible, mainly a wind threat. Hail also a concern, tornadoes a concern, mainly to our south. As that storm passes by, it's a cold front, and so it will be very cold behind it. We'll have about a 60-degree swing in feels-like temperatures between right now and tomorrow morning. We're going to have wind chills around 15 degrees, wintry weather behind the cold front, snow, freezing rain, like I mentioned. That significant cool down will also give us potential for flash freezing, which is not good news. That means all that rain from the severe weather, which is about 3/4 of an inch, could freeze over due to how cold and how quickly it's going to get cold. Note that dry air may make us have less wintry weather than shown on this forecast here. Let's zoom in and take a look first at 4 a.m. as we see rain beginning to affect much of the Oklahoma area. At this point, it's probably the peak time for severe weather in central Oklahoma, maybe a little bit before then, stretching down into the southwestern part of the state as well. Behind it, of course, that sleet and that wintry weather. Let's talk first about that severe weather threat. 5% chance of tornadoes, 15% wind, 15% hail across the board. It's only 2% chance of tornado here in Norman. Like I said, that the more concentrated tornado threat is to the south, but still possible here in Norman. We'll continue to take a look at that rain, also a concern as we move on. As we head into daybreak around 7 a.m., we begin to see the storm move off to the side, off to eastern Oklahoma with precipitation behind it. But as we enter central Oklahoma, and I'll use my cursor. I don't like using my cursor on here. Right here, we have this pocket of dry air resulting in less. We see there's heavy precipitation behind the low at 4 a.m., but by the time the low progresses to the other side of the state, we do have a pocket of dry air here, which means instead of having snow or sleet, we're having nothing. It's cloudy skies out. But nonetheless, it will be cold behind this cold front right here, and that means that we could see rain turning into freezing rain and snow behind this storm tomorrow morning. Again, very light accumulations expected with both of that, and that continues throughout much of the morning till around noontime throughout much of the state before the system moves too far away for us to have any impacts with that. As we see in the north part of the state, a light glaze of ice is possible, a few inches of snow as well. Here in central Oklahoma, we're looking at maybe a little bit of ice, probably a dusting of snow, if that. The main concern, though, in terms of wintry weather is going to be that flash freezing event. Like I mentioned earlier, that quick decrease in temperature will cause that rain that fell during the severe portion of this system to freeze over in some areas. Specifically, if there's standing water, but only a thin layer of standing water, that's very easy to freeze because it's a low amount of water, and it's getting very cold. It's now below freezing. by the time we get to tomorrow morning. So flash freezing is a concern. Wind chills are also going to be abruptly different. I mean, we're outside today with no jackets because it's 75 out, and it's going to be about 15-degree wind chills tomorrow morning. So just prepare yourself for that rapid change in temperature. Prepare yourself for potentially some blowing snow, if you will. I mean, the winds are still going to be gusting to around 40 miles an hour with this, and we could have some snow or flurries associated with this. So just continue to be aware of that as we move on with time. So like I said, the main points of this is it's nice and pleasant right now, aside from the Oklahoma wind, which will continue throughout this event. We'll have severe weather overnight tonight after midnight. That'll turn into a brief period of probably a break in precipitation, and then potentially a little bit of wintry weather and some freezing of the rain that already fell as well. And so some wintry weather concerns tomorrow morning. That's all for now. Chris Sixton, InfoWeather, Catholic Media.